Pete Carroll gets fired from the Seattle Seahawks. Now, it was announced that they are making him kind of like an advisor to the
Hmm.
Seahawks. So I wonder what type of, is Pete Carroll going to be able to be lured away by, maybe there's a big college program that wants to rebuild and, maybe wants to bring him in. That would be a great idea for a college that's looking to rebuild. Um, or maybe there's some other like program or NFL team that wants to be bringing in Pete Carroll. I wonder if he gets like sniped that way, like somebody else grabs him. But um, you know, regardless, he's not going to be coaching the Seattle Seahawks any longer. Wow, like this guy won 2 Super Bowls with them. Was what they're 14 years, I want to say. Um, Obviously has been a elite head coach in the NFL for a very long time, in college football for a very long time. This is a shocking move, and I did not expect it. And I know a couple of days ago it was quoted that he expected to be the head coach for the Seahawks next year. Um, which makes it more heartbreaking. But I'm really interested to see what type of role he takes with Seattle. But Derek, Pete Carroll's not going to be the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks any longer. What are your thoughts?
Hmm. I think this is the most intriguing job open. I know a lot of people will say the Chargers, and yes, they do have a lot of talent. They really do. But I mentioned it when we played the Seahawks, Tristan. This team is absolutely stacked and it's ready to be unleashed again. And, I talked about it with Michael Penix. Like, if they can land a quarterback like him and have a guy who's kind of pro ready, if they get the right guy, boy, this team can be in the playoffs and be contenders next year. So, I don't know who exactly the right fit would be for this job, but as far as Pete Carroll goes, it is a little bit surprising. Obviously, he's up there in age. He doesn't look like it because he keeps himself in good health, right? He's still, um, he's just in good condition. I don't know how else to say it, but uh, and everything that they've done, right? Look at how extremely well they did with the Russ trade. They absolutely ripped Denver to shreds in that trade. I mean, Denver's going to release Russell Wilson. So Seahawks fans were saying let Russ cook, and they were saying Russ can't cook. And obviously Russell Wilson's had a better year this year under Sean Payton, and that is what it is. Um, but they've made a lot of good decisions. I think this team has had a massive turnaround. They have a great secondary with a lot of young guys, Tariq Woolen, in year whatever he is, year two, whatever. I don't know. But they drafted Devin Witherspoon. Incredible safeties, incredible secondary. The defense is coming along as far as the linebackers and the front four. And then offensively, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett with JSN, and a solid offensive line. They used to really be bad, but they've improved the offensive line. And then you have Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So as far as a team and a job, boy, I would want to go to the Seahawks. Like, that is a great spot. But with Carroll, I think he's done. I think he's gonna kind of fade away as far as some sort of role with Seattle, and then he's gonna probably just retire. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I don't see a spot that he would look at and say, I want to go there. Like I just don't see it. Maybe he goes to the Chargers. I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Pete Carroll's probably done. I just wonder if there's going to be somebody who like throws him so much money he'd be stupid to say no. you know, like
Mhm.
that's what my like. I wonder. Like maybe if the Raiders or the Chargers miss out on, uh, getting Harbaugh because they're bidding. Maybe they'll just say, you know what, we'll get Pete
Mhm.
Carroll instead. I don't know. It's interesting though. What I will say is for the Seahawks, my prediction of what I think will end up happening. Um, I think I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna make a really like hipster like move. Like you know how Mike McDonald, when he was hired,
Mhm,
Mike McDaniel, excuse me, was
mhm,
hired with the Dolphins, and everybody was like, "What? Like who?" Like it was
mhm,
such a really weird and unique move. I think that the Seahawks are going to hire Bobby Slowick, the Texans OC, which, by
mhm,
the way, only been in the job for the year, but he's a Shanahan system guy, was on that 2013 Washington Commanders coaching staff, um, you know, and has,
Ooh, the one that's
yes, the
famous,
famous coaching
yeah.
staff, yes. And he's also a guy who does have experience on both sides of the ball. Um,
Does that coaching staff rival the one with the Browns
oh,
that had Nick Saban, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel?
man, I don't know, but it's interesting.
Didn't we have McVay too? We had
I
McVay at
don't
one
think we
point,
did.
didn't we?
That might be what
No?
separates it, but
I thought we did,
I'm
maybe
not
we
sure.
didn't.
But
Anyway.
I think Bobby Slowick comes in and he ends
Mhm,
up being the head coach. And I think they make a splash in free agency and sign the perfect Kyle Shanahan system QB in Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins in Seattle would make a lot of sense. It's a team that's very young, has a lot of explosive receivers. As you mentioned, has a solid offensive line, good run game. I think that's a team that they're a quarterback away and a well coached defense away from being a really good team. And if I mean,
mhm,
imagine this, Derek. Imagine if Seattle's either able to pull in Wink Martindale for their defensive coordinating,
mhm,
which I think is probably the most likely since they run. I'm pretty certain they run 3-4. But if they run 4-3,
mhm.
imagine if Vrabel doesn't get picked up as a head coach anywhere and they're able to snag him and
Oh
to run
boy.
their defense. That
Oh
would be
boy.
very interesting. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I think Seattle's got a lot of potential. Um, like you said, I think the most like anticipated, the most sought out head coaching gig is probably going to be the Chargers. But Seattle's a very good spot to go to. And they have a history of
Mhm,
sticking with a head coach for a long time. Pete Carroll, obviously, they're 14 years. That's a
mhm.
stable organization. I wonder if there's going to be the same view of you know the of the Chargers. I wonder. I wonder what's going to happen there. But we'll see. We'll see.
I I think Seattle's the best shot. I think the Chargers are a great team that has a lot of potential that's kind of been
Yeah.
wasted, but Seattle is okay, Seattle is on their way up. I think the Chargers have been up and they're just kind of level here, where Seattle is like here on their
Hmm.
way up. So do you want to go with the team that I mean, like you said too, stability is
Yeah.
a big thing, right? If you're a head coach and you want a job, that's why a lot of people it's like do you want to go be the Browns coach and be fired in a year and not be hired as a head coach again? Like that was the thing with us for the
Yeah.
longest time. So I don't know. It's
Yeah,
tough.
I mean, it's going to be an interesting offseason with the head coaching carousel for sure. Those are just my
Hmm.
predictions for Seattle. In my opinion, if they do those two moves, bringing in Bobby Slowick, bringing in Kirk Cousins, and then maybe bringing in an experienced defensive coordinator, man, look out for them next year because that right there
Hmm.
is exciting. I'm very high on Bobby Slowick. I'll say it right now. But